What's going on, everybody? And we are here today. This is the Hopeful Romantic Podcast. I'm your boy Dropping Dimes, aka the Hopeful Romantic, and I want to bring out a big shout out to my entire crew. I'm really excited. I know I've been kind of like putting it out there that I'm finally going to have the base and the people that I need around me to really push this podcast to the next level. As usual, we have Miss Illy, we have Lisa B, aka Not Your Average Housewife, Not Your Average Wife, and we have Miss Chris. Super excited today. We got some really cool topics, really thought out during pre-production. Everybody kind of came with some gems. So before we get any farther along, I'm going to lead right into it, man. Just because there's a lot of meat and potatoes on the topics we're talking about. So we had a discussion, right? And we started talking about relationships, and we started talking about, all these little different aspects within a relationship. And we had to stop and say, well, a lot of these things could be prevented if you ask the right questions in advance. A lot of these things could be, you could adjust if you just kind of like figure out what you're going to get yourself into. A lot of times we're in a situation and we're complaining, and it's like, no, if you would have asked the right questions, if you would have known. So we got a little collective here of people that have been down that road in relationships. We've lived with people, we've been married, and all those scenarios. And we're all kind of put our brain together and just kind of come out with what are some of the things that make sure that when you're in a relationship, you're in it to win it. You're not there to fail. So that's our first topic for today. And we're going to go into in it to win it. So my question is, what are some of the questions or what are some of the warnings that you would give somebody if you had to give advice? Hey, you're about to move in with somebody or you're about to take your relationship to the next level. Hey, why don't you ask these questions? And they're usually questions that, you would think, oh, no, not about religion. No, not about this, not about that. Some subtleties that people just don't realize until they're in a house living with somebody or living that day-to-day action with somebody. What do you guys think?
How do you expect the household duties and chores to be distributed? I think that's something minor that we don't think about that can cause issues. Obviously, the finances, but I think that's a big thing. That's an obvious thing. But the little things, I think, is like the chores. Who's doing the dishes every day? Are you expecting me to do wash, fold, then put away the laundry? That needs to be clearly communicated, because I think sometimes, especially in this day and age, us modern women will have different expectations, and then there's trouble in paradise because there's laundry on the bed.
No, you're right. You're right. Lisa, before you moved in, right, and you were settled in with your man or your Chris, whoever wants to jump in, what's something that after like about a year you were like, I wish somebody would have told me this shit, man. Like, what the hell?
My husband didn't know how to do laundry. Like, he really didn't know how to do it. So I was like, first of all, we moved in together. He's like 25, I'm 23. I'm like, how did you live this long without knowing how to do your own laundry? His mom used to do it for the whole house. And I was like, all right, well, come down to the basement with me, sir, because this is Gain and this is fabulous. This is Downey, and these are going to be your new best friends, because I work too and I'm not doing all the laundry. So I had to teach him, literally had to teach him. And I think one of the things you also learn that's important is how do you like to spend your downtime? Like, now that we're together and living together, are we going to be?
Yeah, she goes a little bit there.
No, I get that part. Because right now the dude that I'm seeing, he's a little younger.
Me?
And he just, when he comes home, he just wants to, go put on his headphones, catch up on, watch YouTube, highlights of the games, college ball, whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, hi, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that, like, that was his routine, So I was like, all right, you go do your thing, and I'll go, I don't know, hang out in the living room and watch a movie or something.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like
yeah,
as
it was
women,
that downtime. Like,
yeah, as women, we want to spend our downtime with them, but we don't realize like they need their separation time. Like my friend moved in with her man, and he actually had a day that he went to play like basketball with his friends, and she didn't know that. So she was like, "What do you mean you're not going to be here on Sunday when I'm off from work?"
Yeah,
So
those are
things like that's
definitely
an important
questions you gotta ask.
conversation.
I'm gonna say this, man. I'm gonna go some shit that I learned after being in several relationships where I ended up living with women or being in relationships. It's simple shit, man. Let's go even simpler. Like you guys are talking about stuff that, yeah, I understand, but I'm talking about shit like in my house. I remember I was in a relationship where she thought it was the most disgusting thing on earth to use a loofah because she grew up using washcloths. And I'm like, what do you mean? No, I use a loofah. No, that's disgusting. I'm like, I use a washcloth. We would argue, right? How about this one? There was the what do you do? Take a shower before bed? I mean, at night, like like when you shower, whatever. I would take a shower at night before bed because I had to be up super early, get up, kind of refresh myself, brush my teeth, and then I was out the door in the morning. Where she would shower during the day, and that was her shower for the day, and then at night she'd kind of like freshen up a little bit, but no shower at night. And I'm like, you're not getting in this bed. What do you? You better go wash your ass. Like you know what I mean? There was that conversation. There's little shit. The toothpaste. I'll never forget this. One of the biggest arguments I ever got into was, I guess part of it's my childhood shit. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up, we had to. It was four of us, five of us in the house. We had to make sure we got every drop of toothpaste, kind of thing. So we would like fold it and kind of roll it. And when it got crazy, we cut it and like put the tooth. Like it got bad. You know what I mean? So with her, it was to the point where we'd be, the toothpaste would still have like a whole half a container left in it. And I would watch her walk up to it and throw it in the garbage and open up a new one. I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Simple things like that, like very subtle that you don't understand until you're actually living with somebody. Somebody likes to get ready in the morning, takes a 1 hour shower or an hour, 1 hour to get ready. And you're like, I'm gonna be late to work. Can you fucking hurry up? Like, what is this shit? You know what I mean? So, like, when I talk to guys, my conversation with men is more like this. It's like, hey, listen, man, understand that you're the one that's gonna have to make most of the sacrifice as far as adjusting. Women want to be masters of their environment, and if you're stepping into that home, there's a good chance that she's gonna be the master of that environment, and you're the one that's gonna have to adjust, and you're the one that's gonna have to kind of like comply to more of the rules than she does. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, you're in for it, brother. And it comes down to like you said, like I have a horrible habit. My habit is I see the hamper, I know what the hamper's for, but my socks and my underwear fall just short of the hamper every single time. Bro. And I'm one of these people, right? I'll sweep everything into a nice pile, look at it and be like, well, it's in a pile, so I come back to it instead of just sweeping it up and throwing it in the garbage. So my girl looked at me like, what the fuck are you doing? So I was telling guys, I'm like, yo, listen, bro, look, you know that pile that you make? You got to throw that shit out. You can't just get back to it. You know that dish that you use? You're going to have to wash it, bro. It's not, you can't let it soak. I'm a big soaker. I let shit soak. Oh, yeah, those things. I put them in a cup, put some soap in it, let the shit soak, come back to it when I feel like it and wash. No, 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 no. You're in my house now? That shit gets washed right away. Stuff like that, man. You definitely have to have these conversations because if not, you'll be surprised how the little shit starts to creep up and create bigger problems, man. You know what I mean? And if you don't adjust,
but is it as big as having the conversation beforehand as much as it is understanding that nobody's going to do things exactly how you do? And so you kind of have to just adapt and adjust and because who's going to think to be like, do you throw your clothes in the hamper when you take them off? Like, that's not a conversation you're having until you live together. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And so I think it's important to like figure out or understand like, okay, you're different. You've lived for 23 years and you haven't learned how to do laundry. My goodness, let me show you. You know what I'm saying? And let's make this work versus because you don't always know those little minor things ahead of time, what to ask.
I feel like they
Yeah,
though that's part of like thinking you found the one, is that you automatically assume that when you move in with them, they're gonna be the perfect person to fit you. And then you find out that the little things drive you up the wall.
and I think that you just hit probably one of the dimes that I want to throw out there. You have to understand that the person moving in with you or that you're going to establish your life with is not perfect.
Right.
That's number one. It's like, okay, you're not perfect, but let's figure out how we can, what really, and I also think choosing your battles. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like choosing your battles is also an important one. Like if you're OCD, recognize that you're OCD. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessary. I'm not. So, okay, I get it. We got to do this, but I don't have to do it in the time frame that you need because of your OCD. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I could do it in a reasonable time frame. You know what I mean? Shit like that. But yeah, there's a lot, man. And I find that these conversations, if they're not had, you start to look, and it's going to lead us into our next topic. You start to look around, right? Social media, the internet, celebrities will have you thinking that everybody else is living a perfect life and you're over here struggling with the guy that can't put his freaking clothes in the hamper. And you start to grab these, what would otherwise would be smaller problems, and you start to magnify them. Because what I find is a lot of people start to compare what happens within their household and in their relationship with the outside world. And especially social media has made that real easy. You start watching Housewives of Atlanta, you start watching Housewives of whatever, and you think, oh, everybody should be living in $1 million house. You know what I mean? Everybody should be living in the. No, it doesn't always work out like that. So stop comparing your situation, your timeline, to somebody else's. And that leads us to our next topic, which is boop, not everything that glitters is gold. You know what I mean? So it's important not to compare. Lisa, what are your thoughts on something like that when people compare their relationships?
I would say it happens to me a lot. I've been in my relationship for 20 years. We've been married for 13. So people be like, like I feel like they're not ready to commit to me. Like, when did you get engaged? When did you have start having kids? When did you guys move together? How long did it take you? And I'm just like I wish like there's certain things that we did it on our own schedule. Like I know people that have been in relationships for 10 years before they got engaged and married. Like you can't say that that's gonna work for you. It's when you both are ready. What if he's the kind of guy that wants to save up for that like $10,000 ring? Like that takes a minute. No, not everybody has 10 G's in their pocket. So it's stuff like that. Like you gotta realize who you're with, um,
Yeah,
and do it as it feels natural to you. And maybe it never will.
yeah. You notice that a lot. Like people will watch like Celebrity Watch, or they'll watch freaking like, especially these supposedly real reality TV shows, and we know that's all bullshit. It's not reality, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll be comparing their relationship to. I don't know why my man doesn't take care of all the bills, or my man doesn't. And you're like, but you knew your man was a middle income guy when you got with him. Like, where is this coming from? You know what I mean? Like, I swear to God, I've been in relationships where I was just an average income guy working my ass off, and this chick made me feel like I had to start selling weed on the side. I'm dead serious. It's like, you mean this shit, Because yeah, you come home and you're like, okay, I take care of the basic bills, like the larger bills, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then on top of that, because she went out and watched her friend who's dating a drug dealer, right, with a Louis Vuitton bag, and she come home talking about, well, I don't understand why I can't have, and you're looking at her like, oh, bitch, you can have it. You just got to go buy it. The fuck you looking at me for? Like, you knew what my paycheck looked like. Why are you doing this to me? You know what I mean? And I feel like people don't have that. You know what I'm saying? There's like this perception. Men do it too. Men do it too. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at your girl and she's looking like who did it and ran. You know what I'm saying? She all there like struggling to get right, with her hair and her face. And you're kind of like, yeah, but look at homeboy's girl. He goes out and da da da. You're like, yeah, he pays for those $100 nails. He
Mm-hmm.
pays for that, you know what I'm saying? He takes care of shit so she could go out and do that. And people, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes people make, man. You should never, I always say relationships are like fingerprints, like snowflakes. What works within the four walls of your house has to be between you and your girl or you and your man. You can't let outside influences fuck with that. What do you think, Juliana?
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say something along the lines of what you said too, with like the man that pays all the bills. I know that seems to be like the hot topic these days, and the high value man that earning six figures and paying all the bills, and that's fine and dandy. But there's a lot that comes with that, and I've had plenty of conversations about what defines high value. Is it simply your income or other qualities? So I think, yeah, like women get caught up on the having a provider that covers everything, which would be nice. I mean, we'd all like that, but considering how hard it is to find and unrealistic, and the fact that, again, a lot of times somebody that's covering everything might not always be the best person. They can be assholes sometimes. So
And I think that's something that I struggled with, when I first got separated. And there were a few other people that I was friends with and, friends with on social media. And I'm like, well, they're getting separated and divorced too. How is it that they found this magical, beautiful person and I'm over here struggling, So yeah, it's a lot of that comparing, how is it that they've got it together? How did they meet that person that seems magical? And here they are, they're blending families. And I'm like, I don't even want my dude to meet my kids yet. My kids are grown. My kids are 24 and just turned 18. And I'm like, I don't want to bring them to meet my kids yet.
And I think that's awesome, because I know a million women, well, not a million maybe,
fast, quick, and in a hurry.
Significant number that every 5-6 months they're dating someone new, and then here come us going to Chuck E. Cheese with the kids. And I think that it's super important to keep them away from someone until you find like they're credible and worth it, and like, because you are putting that on your kids, like it's their emotions too, like it's not their father or mother, and they have to get used to that. And I feel like that's giving them the respect that they deserve as your children.
It's wild, right? So you have this topic, right, where the internet has really destroyed that, yo. It has really before it used to be like Cosmo or the Inquirer, like these different magazines that you would read that kind of put that shit in your head. Now that thing is everywhere. Yo, you go on Facebook. The funniest, I don't want to call it funny because it's fucked up. You go on Facebook, right, and you will see a husband and a wife, my everything, my queen, my whatever. This is my lady, my Bonnie and my Clyde, and all that shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then you actually talk to the person in real life, and they're like, "Oh, we haven't been together in like a month, bro. We broke up." Like, what? But he's posting like you guys are still together, like you guys are. Yeah. Yo, some people will have you thinking. That's why I don't put any credibility. First of all, I fuck around and say this shit, but I really do feel like this. If I see a couple's picture on Facebook, all I think is, yo, which one of them cheated? Which one of them fucked up? You know what I'm saying? Or if I'll go back to my original thing that I always fuck around and joke around. If I see a woman blasting her husband, and this is not blasting your husband. I don't mean like, an event. We're on vacation together. Cool, we went on vacation. Cool. I feel like with the internet, everybody highlights the things that don't happen every day. I'll give myself as an example. I'm willing to throw myself under the bus. Back in the day, every other picture on the internet was about me and my daughter. Oh, look at my daughter. I'm such a great dad. I'm the most amazing dad. I've always been a good dad. But I was very insecure of what kind of dad I was, right? Because I had moved. I wasn't around her all the time. Mind you, I'm a good dad. Like, I've always been that way. But I had that insecurity. So what I would do, as soon as I got around her, I would take pictures and be all over the internet, me and my daughter. So everybody on the internet was like, yo, Mike's with his kid 24/7. Oh my God, he's a great dad. Da 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 da. What was I doing? I was projecting something I was very insecure about. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people do that. They highlight things that don't happen regularly. That's why you'll get a vacation. and or a picture at an event, because that doesn't happen every day. But anything you highlight on the internet is something that doesn't happen regularly. So like if you're posting a picture happy all the time with your mate, you're doing it because it doesn't happen often. And you're almost having to convince yourself. You know what I mean? As opposed to like when a woman is happy, she'll post, he'll be like in the background eating. While she's like, oh yeah, how my hubby? She don't give a fuck what he looks like. He's like mid hot dog, it doesn't matter. But when it's not real, it's like this. Couple of the year, we're together, we're the best. You're looking at them like, oh, and like I always say, if you're highlighting and you're pushing, yo, there's guys that purposely creep right into your DMs because they know you're full of shit. Oh, you're super happy? Hey, what's up? And all of a sudden they can have engage deep in conversation with you because you know you're not getting that from them. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about what people project. I think the internet, it's a big bullshit place. It's where people highlight the, and I'm not against it. Highlight the beauty of your life. Highlight the good parts. Cool. You know what I'm saying? But to a degree, be honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like as long as you're honest with yourself and understand that this is just a little image. This is just a glimpse into my life. This is not my life. And when you're watching people on the internet, understand that's just a glimpse. You know what I mean? Like there's a meme that goes around where people, like there's a couple and they look all happy and then you see the back of them and he's like twisting her arm. You know what I'm saying? And she's like in pain and shit. That happens all the time. That's what the internet is, man. It's like a big fucking freak show. I'm sure you guys know. I'm sure you guys know people that fight all the time. They're fucking up to here with each other. He's cheating, she's cheating, whatever. But you see their image on the internet and they look like a happy-go-lucky couple.
Yeah, but now here's the vice versa to that. So my ex-husband, he had, when he was, having his affair, he kept on telling her, oh, I don't do anything with my family. I don't do anything with my kids. They just go off. They leave me to do whatever. And that's when I'm like, I found that text. I found that DM. And I'm like, what? Here we
First
are.
of all, who wants somebody like that?
I think I don't know what it was. But
if somebody told me that they have kids.
Posting though. I started posting all of the things that we were actually doing. And she's like, what? And it was causing arguments with them. But at the same time, I'm fighting for my husband. So, this is what our family is actually doing.
Yeah.
And this is the person that you're going to fall for? The liar? And I'm like,
no, you see, that's why, like,
it's a little
bit. Women are really hard on each other. Go ahead, finish your thought.
That's where I just, that was the vice versa to that. I very rarely posted about my kids because that was something, personal and private, my relationship.
Yeah.
The occasional going out, the vacation or whatever. Hey, we're visiting family. But then I was posting more when I found out about the relationship, the side, and I was like, no, this is what our family actually does. So I was posting more about it and more about it, more with the kids, more of us going to the beach every Sunday or more, going to their events or football games or whatever, because we were always doing stuff with the kids. So when, it was kind of like, who are you lying to?
Yeah. And then on her, who wants to be with a guy who isn't taking care of his kids?
Oh, no.
Isn't taking responsibility.
I gotta.
Like, first of all, it's a red flag. If you don't take care of the kids you have with someone else, if we have kids and it goes south, you ain't gonna take care of those kids either.
And that was the other thing. So I'm trying to think how to
Here's the thing. I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here. You see, he was planting seeds. When a man cheats, right, to that degree, he plants seeds, right? So no woman wants to be with a man that's happy. I'm not cheating on him, but you're happy. Why would I? That's easy to say no to. You're happy.
Because he was making it out to seem like I was always doing things with the kids. I was neglecting my wife duties, And I was putting the
He
kids
has to
first and
plant
all that stuff.
seeds. He has
I
to
was leaving.
convince
I
her.
didn't invite him. That was the other thing. I didn't invite him
Yes.
to do. I forget where the hell we were going ice skating or roller skating with the kids, and he was there. He was there.
We've all been there. I've been on both sides of that. I've been the asshole that lies, and I've been on the other side of that where, you know what I mean? Listen, here's how it goes, right? He needs to convince her slowly. It's called a slow play, right? You slow play her. One day you come in, you think she's hot. You're like, hey, Mike, what's wrong? Nah, man, I'm just going through some shit. Nah, don't worry about it. A couple of days later, a couple of weeks, Mike, what's up? What's wrong? Nah, you know what it is with these women, man. And you got to project yourself as this great guy, this amazing man that's just not, I'm just not getting everything I need at home. He could be completely lying, but he starts to set it up that way, right? See, a lot of times women need justification to take another woman's man. A lot of times, not all the time. Sometimes they do it because that's who they are. But sometimes they need that justification. So what happens is he plants these seeds to the point where she hates you and says you don't deserve him. And that's all he did. He slow played her, planted that seed to the point where she was like, well, he needs to be with somebody that appreciates him. Guess who that is? Me. Right? So he had to paint you as the bad guy. You know what I mean? That's what had to happen. He had to paint you as the bad guy. We've all been there. It's very easy. You know what I mean? You just a couple of times of complaining, a couple of times of being upset, a couple of complaints about how you do so much, she does so little, and you catch the right ear, and that woman's looking at you like, you know what I would do with this guy? Especially if she's out there in the field struggling, meeting trash ass men, and she looks at you like, oh, he's a good dude. Man, listen, those guys get snatched up quick. I'm telling you, man.
He was telling her. He was telling her, oh, she makes me do bitch work while she goes and plays with the kids.
Bitch work.
What?
Wow.
I make you do bitch work? Yeah.
Which was probably like, oh, well, it's your day to do the laundry and it's your day to do the dishes.
Sweep the floor. Because I asked him,
that's awful.
Hey, I'm going to go in the back and in the backyard to go pick up the poop, the dog poop with the boys. Because they can't figure it out. So I need to show them.
Oh, Lord.
And I'm like, while I'm doing that with the kids, can you like just sweep up a little bit around the kitchen? Because somebody spilled something. And it was, yeah, she makes me do bitch work.
Oh, yeah, you don't have any friends. I was asking you, do you have any friends that do that? You're at front, like they're super happy, and in reality, you're like, yeah, whatever.
No, all of my friends are miserable with me together.
You said all my friends are miserable with me.
No, but honestly, like I have the few married friends that I have, they're not big, social media posters. They keep it real. So I've been fortunate to see both sides of marriage. Like it can be glittery and wonderful, but it also can get very dark sometimes. And I've been fortunate to be able to see that firsthand without it really being firsthand.
Yeah, I just find like I always say this shit, man. I just find like marriages that work are working. You know what I'm saying? Like you're too busy working to really be like concerned about what's going on. Like some of my best friends, I love looking at like one of my closest friends on earth. His wife makes an exorbitant amount of money as a nurse practitioner in New York City, right? In one of the biggest hospitals. Award-winning nurse practitioner, forget it, right? I remember them, coming up. They've been together for years, and they were coming up together, and it got to the point where, don't get me wrong, they're a wealthy couple. They're a very well-off couple. He makes great money, but they looked, and she was like, "You make 150K. I can triple that, right? I can triple that. You make 150K. I can triple that. What are we gonna do here? You expect me to stay home with the kids? Like, is that what you're expecting? Or what's best for us, right?" And I remember I think it was like a family member of theirs started talking shit. Oh, he you know what he does, right? he's like a homemaker. He's a babysitter. He stays home. Mind you, he still makes a lot of money. But he's like a baby. She had all this shit to say. And I remember sitting around the table with him and my other best friend. And we're talking and we're like, fuck no, bro. You know, don't let her make you feel like less of a man. What happens within your four, you understand that what you're doing, number one, is the most masculine thing you can do because you're putting your family first. Right? And anytime you do anything, if your family comes first, that is the most masculine thing you can do. Number one. Number two, bro, you guys can be financially free within 2 or 3 years if you do it the way you're doing it, as opposed to you taking the lead and her taking a part. Her part time will probably still make more money than you. You know what I mean? But still, you don't want that. Like, why don't you get fully involved, dive in? So now he became. We joke around, Mr. Mom, but we don't say it as a negative. Mr. Mom is the positive. Like, you're the one that picks up the kids, takes them to soccer, takes them here, does this, blah, 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 meets with the teachers, cleans, feeds them.
The
She
house
gets home late.
husband.
The house husband, yeah. She takes care of him. By the time these kids, at the very end of the night, they're getting showered. They're young, they're little guys. They're getting showered and put in bed. She gets in, she slides right in with him, helps him shower, blah, 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 gets in the bed and kind of closes the night out. And I'm like, bro, and 15 years later, you watch them, and the fruits of that labor they're all over the place. They own properties, they vacation, they're living a fucking beautiful, and this is not just me looking in, this is me talking to them like, yeah, bro, it works for us. At first people had something to say, but what we realized is, like you said, it's a fingerprint, it's a snowflake. What works for us doesn't necessarily work for everybody else. You know what I mean? Some men's egos can't take that. You know what I mean? Some people they're set on the fact that the man has to. Some women come into the relationship with no, you need to. I'm not gonna work that hard. I don't want to do that. I came in because you said you were gonna, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yo, look, at the end of the day, when you look at these relationships, you really have to look at them individually and say, if it works for you, perfect. That's all that matters. What should it? I always say this: if who makes more money, determines who's making the decisions in the house, that's not a recipe for success. It's not, because money should not be the determining factor on what ideas take off within the home. It should be what gets our family the furthest. What establishes our family on a road to success? You know what I mean? If you make 200K and she makes 70,000, or the other way around, but he's the one that has logic. He's the one that can calculate the numbers. He's the one that can kind of put things in place to make action, to take the action. You know what I mean? Also, you have to figure this one out. A lot of times people underestimate what people bring to the table. So you can be making a ton of money, but I'm the one that does all the repairs around the house. A lot of times people don't calculate that. Oh shit, you're basically saving us about 40 grand a year in repairs. You know what I mean? So like I said, all people have to do is settle within the four walls of your house, come to that agreement where it's comfortable for both of you, like a team, and then disregard your best friend. There's always the nosy single best friend that has something to say. It's always the nosy single best friend. It's always somebody's mother-in-law. It's always somebody's family. Man, you got to cut them out and be like, yo, what works for us works for us. Y'all got to bounce. This shit ain't working. This shit ain't working. All right, so earlier somebody mentioned something that I thought was hilarious. And I'm really going to take a back seat because I want to hear what experience you guys have had with this type of person, or what is the main turnoff or main complaint when you run across this type of person. And that is, I'm not your mother. What is the deal with Mommas Boys? And are you raising one?
And are you raising one?
That's the question. Because a lot of times sometimes unknowingly, you are raising one because you may be very hard in an area that was traumatic for you or troublesome for you, but then every time they need a ride, you don't let them walk 10 blocks. You know what I'm saying? Or every time they need what do you call it, some extra pocket cash, you're giving it to them. You know what I mean? There's subtleties that you guys do too. Don't think you see a lot of times you'll find out simple shit like, oh, she did his laundry. That's a mama's boy. Yeah, but he's got the newest Jordans on all the time. You bought it for him. And now when he gets older, he has to assume that I get to have the newest Jordans, even though the budget doesn't call for it. And he's like, but my mom used to, you know what I mean? So like, you gotta watch. Yeah, what do you guys think? Everybody's quiet now.
Because we don't know where to start.
Yeah.
There's so many levels to that. So like with my kids, I think there's a difference. My 24-year-old, he's special needs. So it's harder for him to understand certain things. Where like my 18-year-old, he's probably more on the 24-year-olds. He's not always working. He never asked me for money. Very rarely does he ask me, hey, mom, I'm working, 10 hours today. Can you please put, my work clothes in? And sometimes I'll say yes. Most of the time I'm like, just do it on your day off. Or when you come in, that's when you need to do it. Pretend I'm not even here. But then for my older one who's special needs, I kind of give him a little bit more slack. So I won't do his laundry. I won't wash the dish that he leaves in there, but I'll remind him, hey, listen, you need to clean your bathroom. That is your bathroom. You are the only one who uses it.
What have you guys ran into Mommas Boys when you're dating? Or
all
like,
the time.
or even like
when all the time. And I have been dating men who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s.
Okay,
and they are still, hey, I am equal opportunities. Because you never know who is out there and who is for you. He may be 20.
Yeah, you want young guys anyway, man. All these old guys are on dick pills and calcium, man. Trust me, you're good. You're probably better off with like a 20, 30-year-old.
But again, with the problem with dating someone who's in their 20s, they're just figuring out life. And they're just maybe getting out of college or starting their first job. And they're trying to figure out, the dude that I'm with, he's in his late, almost 30. And he's like, he doesn't understand. Why is he not getting paid? I'm like, you're not getting paid. You're just starting out. You are just starting out. But he's also trying to manage, trying to figure out how to have a relationship. And that's where, like, there's certain things that I'm like, I'm not your mom. I shouldn't, be telling you these things.
But that comes with the territory when you're dating younger guys. Like, I mean, there's going to be things that you've experienced and you've learned.
Right. So some things I do have to teach him, foreplay is a huge thing. You got to learn. You've got to put in your time.
Slow down.
You need to put in your time. Slow it down. This isn't a sprint. We're here for a while. You're not going anywhere.
It's so funny, right? You're telling the 28-year-old slow down, or the 30-year-old slow down, and then you're telling the 50-year-old, yo, start up, yo. You got to start up.
And that's the other thing. It's like, bro,
Can't
all right,
wait.
enough with the we've already been here, too long with the foreplay. Let's get it going.
Yeah. He's just buying time. He's just buying time because Viagra ain't kicked in.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, you ever had to date, like, you ever met a guy that was like a fucking mama's boy, you were like, yo, hell no.
I haven't had any supers mama's boy. I've dated like where his mom was an enabler to his fuckery, but she wasn't like laundry per se. So I think it's still a mama's boy in a way, just in a different kind of a way.
Yo, explore that. What do you mean by, like, what are some of the other ways that people could be mama's boys, like, that you found?
Put it this way, I feel like he would complain about the things in our relationship to his mother. Meanwhile, he wasn't handling a lot of things that the man should handle, but she wouldn't tell him that. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't talk bad about me. She just was like in the ear, for him to vent. But like, bitch, tell that nigga he ain't shit. Like,
I'm gonna put you on to some game.
It was just really frustrating.
Because they can do no wrong. they can
Yeah,
do no
like that.
wrong
It
in
was
their
just like,
mama's
I hear
But
you.
eyes.
I'm gonna put you
And
guys on to some game. Let me get the mic real quick. I'm gonna put you onto some game. That is done on purpose.
What?
When the separation of church and state. Mom being the church, you being the state. Separation of church. You do that on purpose. All right. I was the king of that shit. Of keeping whatever girl I was dating, relationship. I'm talking about living with them full fledged. Yo, all in, away from my family. Like not away as in we don't do dinners, we don't do Thanksgiving, but away as in there's a little gap between the life I'm living and the life they think I'm living. Why would I do that? Because I wanted to be able to go home and treat it like a baby. I wanted to be able to go home and treat it like her son, be a mama's boy when I'm at home. So what would I do? I would come home and I would complain about her, right? Keeping that distance. You know what that shit starts to do? That distance allows you, right? Because if they don't have a close relationship with their mother, if he doesn't have a close relationship with her mother, the girl with his mother, what he's allowed to do is he's allowed to disappear. Where were you? I was at my mom's. How's she gonna check? How's she gonna know? She really can't because she doesn't have that type of relationship with mom. She just can't call mom. Now if she's super cool with mom. She can call, hey, is John? No, he's not there. Oh, piece of shit. But because they don't have a great relationship, she can't call. So he can cover up a lot of his bullshit if he keeps that gap between you guys. And then when he's around family, he could be like, yeah, man, yeah, I'm always paying all the bills. I'm doing all the shit. I'm working overtime. She's not doing nothing. And he could be completely fucking lying. Completely lying. But what he's doing is making sure that he keeps that bunker of distance between you and the family. So, like I said, he could be like, now all of a sudden, Thanksgiving comes around and you got an attitude. You're like, I'm not fucking going over there. They don't even like me. They're talking shit, and you guys don't get along, so you don't even want to go over there. You know what I mean? What he's not telling you is that he's not going over there either. He's disappearing to the side chick's house to go hang out. That shit's on purpose. So you always got
But
to close
that's
that
two
gap.
different. I feel like that's two different dudes. That's like the fuck boy versus the mama's boy. That's not the same dude.
Yeah.
That's really not what I'm talking about.
So that mama can cover up a lot of his bullshit. Yeah. But it's true. You're probably right. It could be two different boys, but maybe I was a fuck boy, not a mama's boy. I don't know.
A little bit of
But
both.
again, you were saying, what are some of the other things like? Because yeah, there's some clear cut ones. You see, so like you said, he vents a lot to his mother. He lies about the relationship and makes you put you in a bad light. That could make him a mama's boy
I think
too.
if it was just not her, what made him the mama's boy is just the enabling. Like she wasn't holding him accountable, or even if he was perfect, like let's figure out how to fix it versus just sitting there looking dumb. Just dumb. It was just dumb. It was really dumb.
It's just dumb. I don't know.
And in my situation, it was more like, especially when I found out about the affair, after we had it out, I went to her and said, hey, this is what's going on. And she's like, what? No, not my son, not my baby. And after a while, she went from talking shit about the other woman, how dare she, be a homewrecker, all this stuff, to, oh, but my son works hard and you should have done more and this and that. And I'm like, and I think that also that whole, I'm not your mother thing, it's also a little bit of a culture because they were Brazilian. So it's the man doesn't do housework. The man works and comes home and that's it. He doesn't do kid stuff. He doesn't do house things. Yeah. We are here as women, the woman's got to serve.
I definitely feel like
some cultures, the house.
Yeah, some cultures just have way more predominant gender roles than others. Like they're like, nope, the woman does A through Z and the man does A through E.
Right.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if she's working all day or not. You come home, you cook dinner, you take care of the kids, you do all that.
And that was super predominant in Spanish culture.
My guy, he was bent, because I wasn't domestic enough, but like I was paying all the bills, but nowhere does his mother like, hey, she's paying all the bills, son, maybe cut her some slack.
Yeah.
Then
I
it
was
turns
raised
into,
that.
why weren't you doing that? Why weren't you treating your man like, the king of the castle?
Right.
I was raised that washing dishes is bitch work. So like, oh my god, to get me to wash the dish show is a mother. Trust me, I'm very like, I'll do everything else, but when it comes to dishes, I'm like, no, I
But
don't
that's
want to.
okay though, as long as there's a trade-off. So like if
True,
you don't
true.
want to do the dishes, that's cool. I don't like to scrub the toilets. Will you scrub those toilets? Because if you
Ah,
scrub
yeah,
those
yeah.
toilets, I'll be in there every time a dish hits that sink.
Yeah, that's
So it's a
true. That's true.
trade-off. It's about communicating that.
Here's the thing, right? Like, I find that the woman that I choose, right? There are some things that my mother did for me, right? That I believe in 100% that I wouldn't be with my girl now unless she was like that, right? But it has nothing to do with chores. It has nothing to do with like things like that. It's more so how she talks to me. Okay. I've always said this shit, bro. Oh, you want to break up? Yell at me in public. You don't have to do anything else. You yell at me in public. Cool. If you wanted to break up, why didn't you just say it? Because I don't talk. I got zero fucking tolerance for yelling at me in public trying to embarrass me, right? And I'm a guy that 100% gives you. You know how they say more. You get more bees with honey than you do with shit. I'm 100% honey. Don't give me shit. You give me shit, I look at you like you have shit on your face. You know what I mean? And my mother knew that about me since I was a kid. So when she spoke to me, it was always like, I need to talk to you. And she could be pissed. And she'd be like, I need to know in a very monotone voice, very calm, explain. And I would have to explain myself. Don't, it never changed how much trouble I got into. I still got into
Mm.
trouble. I still had to pay consequences, but she didn't yell. You know what I mean? And it wasn't a whatever. That's number one. Number two, she was always very appreciative of effort on my behalf. So like if she knows I studied, but I didn't do good on a test, I saw how hard you studied. You know what? I appreciate the work that you put in. Da, 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 right? So and as you get older, you would meet women that didn't acknowledge the effort. So they're like, I'm like, yo, I worked 12 hours. I came home. I didn't go to this event that I had to come here to do this. And you're just because you naturally do that, it's okay. Like you don't have to acknowledge it, right? Cool. And I would get turned off. And then you meet a woman that she looks at you and goes, "Yeah, I saw what you did. I appreciate that." You know what I mean? And these are all things that, yeah, look, in that aspect, I'm 100% a mama's boy because that's a trait that with my relationship now, I got from being growing up, from being around my mother. She was always like, "You're the smartest, you're the best, you're my son, you're amazing." You know what I mean? And I developed that where I want to be around a woman. Don't get me wrong, I earned that those praises, but I want to be a woman that tells me that. She like, "Yo, you're amazing. You're the best. Oh my God." You know what I mean? I need that. You know what I mean? And if when I'm in a relationship that doesn't have that, fuck it, I'll be a mama's boy 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 times. But I'm not settling for anything. You know what I mean? So there is that aspect of it where I think guys, it's okay to be a mama's boy because that's what you need. That's what you want. That's what fulfills you. That's what makes you happy. Where I don't agree with it is things that should be that you have to come together on. You know what I mean? Like again, the household chores. Again, how you distribute responsibility, the how, all that stuff. Yeah, I'll give you guys that. But there are certain things where a woman may call you a mama's boy. Like I got called a mama's boy when somebody kind of came out their neck at me, like being real, like sassy with me. I'm looking at them like getting turned off by the second. You know what I mean? Like, oh, what? You don't like it when somebody tells you the truth? You don't like it whenever you get all, and I'm looking at them like, I got no problem with the truth. You don't got to be snapping your neck, talking, yelling, raising your voice. It doesn't work. You know what I mean? So like, there are things that I stick to. Like, there's areas where I don't blame a guy for being a mama's boy. You know what I'm saying? But like you guys, I know things that affect you, like day to day stuff. I could get that. I could understand why you wouldn't want to be with a mama's boy. But there are some things emotionally you might want to look into and realize, oh shit, this is not just a mama's boy thing. This is really how he was raised and what he needs thing. You know what I
I feel
mean? Not just
like what you said about like how your mom would see you study for the test, and she would be like, all right, well, you didn't pass it, but that's okay. Sometimes that turns into being an enabler in the future, because there is a certain of accountability. So like, for example, I have a friend, he wants a better situation for himself, but he doesn't put himself out there. He wants, and he's a great guy, right? He's kind. I think he has a lot of great attributes that could essentially make him a good partner for somebody.
How old is he? Then we bring him on and write a profile for him on dating site. I said, how old is he?
So, however, he lacks initiative, right? Putting himself out there. So you can sit on your couch every day and say that I went to college and I got this degree, but never apply for those jobs that will get you where you want to go. And some of that comes from being told as a young man that, okay, well, you did the effort.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you're going.
No, that's not the effort.
You know?
No.
Like,
I gotta disagree with you. That's not the effort. That's not the effort.
Trickle down effect, unfortunately.
No, but that's not the effort. That's not the effort because he actually studied. Like I actually studied. You know what I'm saying? When he graduated college, that wasn't the effort.
At the last minute, when you're studying the right chapters. See, and that's the stuff that matters, and that's the stuff that gets overlooked. Like, oh, you studied just because she saw you in there with a book. Not to poo-poo your situation.
And this is
just
what I'm
generally
saying.
Speaking, just because he's with a book doesn't mean that he was studying long enough. Doesn't mean that he was studying the right chapters.
There's a difference. There's a difference between enabling, right, and acknowledging. So if he was, so like for instance, in your example. The graduating to college, that's what he was supposed to do. That's not the effort. The effort is if he went on 4 or 5 interviews, he did these things, he's whatever. Now, is it a matter of if his mother's an expert in that arena, she can help him like, hey, okay, you're doing this wrong. But oftentimes they don't know any better. But he's going out, he's applying, he's getting second interviews, he's meeting people, he's doing networking, and the job market is just not right for him right now. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about he sits on his ass and wishing and hoping. No, the acknowledgement I'm talking about.
Saying. Sometimes getting all that, okay, well, you tried, turns into, well, I'm trying. I think I'm trying. Maybe I'm trying. You don't think I'm trying, but I think I'm trying, because that's what was bred into me, was like, okay, I was gonna say I wanted to say about the I'm not your mama thing. I will want to put a little disclaimer that says I don't mean to offend my family in this instance. But when I met my husband, he definitely was a mama's boy. She did a lot of things for him that was that just shaped his initiative to do a lot of things. Like, for example, so we lived together in a 2-family home. We lived on the first floor and his family lived upstairs, right? And the enabling was so bad that if we ran out of bread, he'd just go upstairs and grab 4 slices, right? And I would come home, or I'd be on my way home from work, and he'd be like, yo, we don't have any bread. There's a corner store down the road, sir.
No.
Go get the bread. Why you gotta go upstairs? And then I feel like sometimes men have to have things spelled out, right? I gotta give you instruction number 1 and instruction number 2. So instruction number 1 would be like, compile the list of groceries. Instruction number 2 would be, go to the grocery store. And instruction number 3 would be like, buy these groceries. However, I will get a text message. Which eggs are the eggs that we buy? I've been living with you for 15 years. You don't know what eggs we buy? You don't know what milk we drink? Or like, I sent him to get pull-ups for our son one time. And he was like, which pull-ups do we get? I'm like, yo, you help him put the pull-up on. You don't know which one it is? And that's what I mean. Like, I'm not your mama. I don't want to do this. I want a partner. I don't want my 4th child who I'm sending to the grocery store to get groceries. If that's the case, I'll just do it myself.
I think a lot of
Oh,
times that's the frustration. That's the frustration. It's like, I'm guilty of that shit. I try to push you to the point where you're
but
like,
that's what
fuck it,
the way that
I'm
your
gonna do it
brains
myself.
work as men. That is just the way that we are emotional people. You guys need that step-by-step instruction.
Like
I don't
me
know.
and
Yeah,
my
yeah,
husband were like having an argument about him not doing things when he got home, right? So I listened to you guys' podcast about his inner peace, right?
hmm
So I listened and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to respect his peace more, right? So then I had a conversation with him and I said, you should I need you to come home and just do these things. Like it's your job. These are your jobs. And if you do these, I will leave you alone. You can come in and have your peace and come out when you need to, right? But I need you to
yeah,
do this. And he was like, it never really hit me before that those were my jobs. I just thought it was stuff you'd like me to do.
yes, yes.
And
I think that
he's
is
like, cause
huge.
I take my work very seriously and I like to be a hard worker. So now that you told me that that's my job, I'm gonna do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, that
So it's
actually
just a matter of
works.
communication.
It's
It's just
simplicity.
unfortunately it's a matter of
It's
communication.
simplicity.
Noted.
Yeah, you just gotta like you do. Once you spell it out for us, it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's like I always tell guys, I'm like, Baba, the list doesn't stop growing. The list is always gonna keep growing. But you can buy yourself some time by handling what you need to handle. Handle that shit. Come on, come in. By handling what you need to handle. Handle that shit. And yeah, eventually the list will grow and you'll have to readdress it. But what you literally do is you buy yourself some time. Like if you want to watch football on a Sunday, yo, do what you need to do. Go to Bed Bath and Beyond early. You know what I'm saying? Take care of that cabinet that she's been asking you to fix early, right? So that when you sit down and you turn the TV on, she's not like the ball's on this guy. I'm over here running around. I asked you to do one thing and you can't get this shit done. You know what I mean? That's all it
Yes.
is. It's that communication. And once that communication is open, it sounded so simple coming out of your mouth, right? And the reality of it is, if more people did that, it'd be like, yo, you're A, B, C, D. I'm one, two, three, four. Handle that. Can you handle that? Cool. Now there's going to be a problem when he doesn't. You know what I mean? And then you have the right to bitch and moan and say what you need to say to him. But if he's handling one, two, three, four, cool. Now you earned your chill time.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a great. I like the way that ended. That was dope. All right, so Christina, you ready? This is a new segment alert. New segment alert. We've been wanting to do this for a while, and this segment is the no. I went down to your mother. Show. Here we go. Waste of time. No waste of time. Okay. Chris is going to be reading some profiles that she's come across and commenting on some profiles she's come across recently on some dating sites that she's pulled. And collectively, we're going to give our opinion on whether it's a waste of time, what this guy is really, what he's really trying to do. If he's, looking for the one night stand, looking for the quick hit, is he full of shit? We're all just going to drop our opinion. So, Chris, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Should
Oh
we be
man.
like the panel and be like thumbs
Yeah,
down?
thumbs up,
Yes.
thumbs down.
And
Oh
you know
shit.
what? Some of these are just very self-explanatory.
She said they don't
So
even deserve to be rated.
they don't even deserve it. Oh my god. It's bad. So I am only right now I am only on Hinge.
Okay.
I reactivated my profile for this. And oh man, the 17 little likes that I got, for the past week, I am just like I'm floored. So I'm not going to give names. I'm just going to give you an age, what they do, and
Okay.
what they wrote.
That sounds
So
fair.
this young man, he is 21. It says he is a senior at Cooper City High School. We'll get along if I just turned 21 today. Finally, what is this? You can handle my stupidity and love weird laughs. I can't. I can't.
Right. Like, stop.
You should leave a comment. Now, this is the same profile. You should leave a comment if you're a sword enthusiast and a pro dumbass looking for some friends, fun, maybe some friends with benefits.
Yikes.
He's honest.
He left a meme.
You know what?
He left a wait, hold on. He left a meme. Why am I sad? My dick is huge.
Wow.
The secret to getting to know me is I love playing video games, seafood, home cooked food, sleeping during the afternoon when I'm bored, and I'm a sword enthusiast.
I fucking love this guy.
Is that it?
That is fucking great. What the fuck is that?
I can't. Yeah. Oh, this boy.
So
All right,
first of all,
I think we could all
why-
vote. I think we could all vote down.
Why are you 21 and in high school?
Yeah.
And why are you like? I am 43 years old. I'm not gonna hide my age. My age is there.
Oh, he
I'm
actually
like-
liked your post.
He
Like,
liked my post. He liked and
That's hilarious.
Wow.
he left a comment under the because I put I keep it moving if you're looking for a friends with benefits type of situation. I'm not about that life. And he liked it. And he's like, I think I'm your guy.
He's look.
Confident.
Well,
He's confident.
the one thing I will always say is that there's guys that understand the numbers game. Internet dating is not a science; it's a numbers game. Well, I guess that would be a numbers game. There's guys that absolutely know that they could send out 100, let's fuck. I send out 100, let's fuck. Out of those 100, I might get about 4 or 5 that are like, huh? Interested. Out of those 100, I'll probably get 2 that say yes. Out of every 100, you'll probably get about 2 that say yes. So if I send 100 a week and I fuck 2 women a week for 4 weeks in a month, that's 8 women. That's not a bad month at all. You know what I mean? Believe it or not, there's people that the honesty, the straight up, okay, cool. 1 in every 100 women are going to be like, all right, whatever. I got a friend there. Oh my God. His opening line used to be, hey, you want to get some pizza and fuck? And they'd be like, send a question mark back. He'd be like, what's the matter? You don't like pizza? And let me tell you something. This dude was slain because his ultimate thing was not whether he was funny or not. It was to get a response. Because he knew that if he got a response and opened that door, out of 10, 2 of those, there's going to be some action. You know what I mean? It's a numbers game. So don't laugh at this guy. He could probably, I'm telling you, there are, if he send that out to 100 women, there's 2 women out there that absolutely love swords and big dicks.
Yeah.
There's absolutely 2 women that
And
love
they usually
swords
go to Red
and love
Fair.
big dicks. And they, yeah, there you go. There you go. And they're on Hinge. There you go. Nah, go ahead. So what else you got? What else you got?
And I don't like playing the whole race card, but I think it wouldn't, if he was white, it wouldn't hit me as it does because he's not white. So it just hit me a little like,
What?
it hit me a little weird. Like he's not like a dorky
Like a nerdy
white with glasses. Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's not.
They
great
come in all
looking
colors,
either,
girl.
But
Oh, so he doesn't match up like he's not a nerd. He's not like a fucking dork.
No.
Maybe
He's
it's
not
game.
good looking either.
But maybe he knows, you see? Then maybe he's just definitely using the numbers game. He's probably just throwing it out
I
there.
definitely met women that if you said that you had a BD, that they'll be like, hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Especially if they're at home with a freaking boyfriend that, yeah, I get it. With a shrimp dick. No, go ahead. Give us another one.
Yeah, give us
All
another
right,
one.
so I'm gonna give you another one. This young man is 27. He is a bank teller at TD Bank. All of his pictures, he is either in the gym or in bed. Can you all? please, what is the deal with the pictures in bed? Why?
Is he shirtless?
Oh, there's so many men like laying on their pillows. To me, that's a huge red flag. I immediately, X, swipe left, but come on. He's like, the dorkiest thing about me is being a hardcore gamer and genuinely liking my job. He hit me with a DM. Oh, where is this now? I know there's a bit of an age difference between us, but I just wanted to let you know that you're gorgeous as hell nonetheless. I think that's cute, sweet.
Shooting a shot. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. All right, let's go.
Oh man.
What's his profile saying?
Nothing. It's all. That's the only thing that his profile says. That's it. Is that he is
rejection?
Is he cute?
No.
Okay, so I wrote down some things because I just couldn't look at the picture. They were cute. I'm gonna go a little older this time, my age. 49.
Right.
He's an architect. There were all pictures of the gym, pictures at the gym, pictures in bed, laying out. No shirt. Just my greatest strength is that I never waste time worrying about what other people think.
So I'm set in my ways. Okay.
But yeah, that's it. That's all his profile said.
That's it. First of all, let's talk about how architect can be code for construction worker.
No.
Yes.
And there's a big difference there.
And he looks like it. He looks like a
construction worker?
He looks like a construction worker.
Okay.
There's no picture. If you're an architect, I would assume you're going to dress like business casual going into the office. Why am I not seeing that picture of you?
And
in
I
your
feel
car
like they would have more to
dressed?
say.
Yeah,
to be honest,
a little bit more. I don't know.
Because their mind works on a different level, like engineering and stuff. So, like, you should have more to say, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Ted.
So this Hinge thing is tough, right? Because they don't give you a lot with the profile, so you kind of really have to dissect and look in and be like, and actually have to engage in a first initial conversation to see if they match up to what they're trying to project. You
and that's the other thing
DM.
that I noticed. Like, if you, let me see what this guy's about, and you hit that, the heart or the like button, and it's a lot of the apps, they want the woman to start the conversation. So it's, hey, I don't like talking on this app. Let me have your number. Send me pictures. Send me more pics of you.
See, men understand that communication. See, I was the king of that shit, bro. But I did it very subtle. So my dating experience online, I got to the point where I was the biggest douchebag on the history of douchebag. It got so like once I understood what the process was, it was like click and snap, click and snap, click and snap, right? And a lot of times you want to remove the woman from the app. Then want to separate yourself, because while you're in the app, you're just one in a crowd. You want to kind of separate yourself, so you want that individual time. A lot of times, you understand that communication is very important to women. So if you're a good communicator and you get her off the app and you get her one-on-one talking, your chances have increased exponentially onto seeing her or getting a date or meeting her. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that happens. He wants to separate himself from the crowd, get you away from there. You know what I mean? And that's step one into getting on a date or hanging out or seeing you. Because at the end of the day, it's all about, getting together, getting you in FaceTime, getting that FaceTime with you to see at the end of the night it's going to end up the way he wants it. So that's one of those things.
I'm not about giving out my number right away, though. You got to talk to me on the app, because the second that you, I know.
Google Voice.
The second that you give them your real number, they can check out your Facebook profile, your Instagram, all of your socials, and they know a little bit more than
Yeah, so get
What
Google
they- what
Voice.
Google
Then
Voice.
it forwards
No,
you.
I did. Yeah.
Ileana, have you ever dated online?
Huh?
Ileana, you ever dated online?
I've dated online. Currently, the guy that I'm dating now, I met online.
So what was the key? Without giving away too much, but what was some of the things that separated him from the crowd that he was able to kind of like
I feel like it's all bullshit. That's why I don't pay attention to profiles. I might read it because, just for fun or whatever, but all I'm looking at is,
Mhm.
do I like you? Can I sit across from a dinner table and would I kiss you based on your appearances? Quite honestly, I'm quick to give my phone number, which is why I got a Google Voice, because as much as the guy might be using that in his favor, it also can set you out of the running really fast. One conversation and it's like, oh, thanks for not wasting my time. Goodbye.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I'm a swiper. I'm all about the physical. If you're cute, I'm a swipe. That's it. Because I'm not reading your bullshit profile. Because it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
You
You
have
can
the
say
same
all about
exact chance. You have the same exact chance of doing it that way as if you actually read the profile. It's the same. Nothing
exactly,
increases
exactly. But I
by
waste
reading the
way too much
profile. You
time.
get
But I waste
nothing out of
a
it.
lot less time. I can swipe through 10 profiles in 10 seconds versus like, let me read and try to dissect and how tall is he. Fuck all of that. Are you cute?
Now,
Let's listen.
as a guy, we get tons of information. We get tons of information because a lot of times women put on their profile. If they're gonna write a profile, they're putting what they're trying to protect themselves from. You know what I'm saying? Like usually that's the foot that they put out there. I'm trying to protect myself from this type of dude. I've been down this road. This has happened to me 100 times. This is not what I want. But there's something in your behavior that's attracted that type of guy. So I look at it and I'm like, got it. No, cool. And then you kind of like, there's a game plan now. You know what I mean? This shit is, oh my God. Let me tell you something. Dating online is a freaking crapshoot. I will say this, and this is my philosophy on the whole thing. I do believe that the universe doesn't know late; it only knows right on time. So you could date 100 guys, right, from now till Tuesday, and on Tuesday you meet Mr. Right, or you could date absolutely no one, not even leave your house. If it's meant for you to meet Mr. Right on Tuesday, you're gonna meet him on Tuesday. It doesn't matter how many guys you kiss, frogs you kiss. You're gonna meet the man when you're ready, when time is ready, when the universe is ready for you to do it.
I agree with
So there's
that.
no need for all that other stuff. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, if you want to have fun, you want to get taken out to some dinners, you want to have a good time, you want to have a couple of stories to tell, fuck it, man. Enjoy. Enjoy dating.
I mean, I
Enjoy
know quite a
dating.
few people that have met and married, their partner online. So online
Yeah.
dating can be a very viable
Yes.
source for finding a partner. I just think it shouldn't be taken too seriously. Like even as a woman, like your profile shouldn't say too much. It shouldn't say much about heartbreak or all, because guys do that too. I've had guys that like don't swipe if you're not gonna answer my messages or stuff like that. It's like, okay,
My shit I
bitter
learned
much?
was
But
my shit I learned was be middle of the road. Be middle of the road.
yeah, just
Like
it's a
don't give
neutral
enough. Be
playing
like,
field.
hey, listen, I'm open for a relationship, but if you want to get down tonight, I'm down to get down tonight. Like I'm just very like I don't know what I'm looking for. See, that's what I try to explain. But people that know what they're looking for usually know where to go find it. You know what I mean? When you're going to the internet, it's because a lot of times you don't really know what you're looking for. You're just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So like those are the people that I like when I wanted to be serious online and find somebody. That those are the people that I looked for. Like I looked for people that were like, I don't fucking know, bro. If I had the answers, I wouldn't be here. Kind of people. Those are the people that I would look for on the internet because I'd be like, that's honest, that's real. You know what I mean? And then when you start to talk to them, you're like, yeah, I'm down for whatever. Like if I like you and you're sexy, yeah, maybe you might come over. Well, I'll let you hit tonight. But if you don't like it, if I don't like you, no. And they just flat out and they were honest. Those were the ones that were like, I wouldn't end up in a relationship. Maybe like become longtime friends or start dating over a while. But those were the ones that I found the most fascinating because it was like, oh, okay, cool. Don't front. If you go too far to the left, where I'm ultra conservative, you're really a freak. You want to be conservative, but you're really a freak. If you're too far to the right, you're fronting like you're a freak. Reality it is, you haven't been touched in a while. So let's just chill, relax. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more about middle of the road. As long as you get to know that part, like Ileana said, don't take it too serious. Understand that it's a numbers game. When men go online, a lot of times people think they're looking for sex. No, they're not. What they're looking for is happiness. And it's like a band-aid on something that needs stitches. They look for it in terms of whether that happiness comes in the form of a one night stand, the happiness comes in the form of a week, the happiness comes in the form of a 3 month relationship, and then they ghost you. Why? Because you can no longer create the happiness that I couldn't fulfill myself, that I couldn't create inside myself. So once you can't do that, I have no use for you. Time to move on. You know what I mean? What you want to find is men, which is what should be some of the initial line of questions when you're online talking to a guy, is trying to find out if he's happy with his life. Are you where you want to be financially? He doesn't have to be like, yeah, because I'm a doctor. It could be more like, nah, man, but this is the step I'm taking. It's time, I'm kind of headed in the right direction. That's okay. You know what I mean? You want to know, bottom line is you want to know, is he happy first? You don't want to be the reason he gets happy. Because I'm telling you, you give up the goods and then all of a sudden you can't feel that little need, that little gap anymore, and he's gone. And I'm telling you, I have too many friends of mine. I don't understand. He was everything I wanted. He took me on a vacation to the Bahamas. And when I needed help, he helped me with my car and he did this, and he's always been there for me and he communicates and da da da. And now, I don't know, all of a sudden he doesn't know and he's not sure. No, he knew. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He set you up and now it's like, okay, she doesn't fill that gap anymore, that happiness gap. Time for me to go. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? He treats you good and he's nice to you. Why does he do that? Because 2-3 months from now, he could come back around. And you don't look at him like an asshole. You don't look at him like a dick that treated you bad. You look at him as somebody that had started going through stuff. Or he had a lot going on. Or he had to do this. So what do? You entertain him again. You know what I mean? And that's a cycle. And I always tell women, if he makes you feel unsure, if he makes you feel unbalanced, it's on purpose. That is game. Because a man that really into you, a man that really wants you, we don't have steps. I know, people don't talking, not all men. No. Don't all men. It goes back to my Super Bowl theory. Ileana's heard this 100 times. You come to Mike and you say, hey, Mike, you want to go to a wedding? I'm like, who's going? When? What time? I don't know, man. I got to work. I might have to pick up my daughter. I don't know. I had to take my mother to the doctor. I got 1,000,001 excuses. You know why? I don't really want to go to that fucking wedding. But if you come to Mike and you go, hey, Mike, I got Super Bowl tickets. I'm looking at you and go, when do we leave? Because where there's certainty and where a man sees value, we don't hesitate. Oh, when are we leaving? Oh, Mike, but what about your mom? I'll find somebody to take her. Who's picking up your daughter? I'll send her an Uber. What about work? Fuck that job. That's how you know what I'm saying? That's what happens. You have to be a man's Super Bowl. Like anytime a man makes you feel unsure, I got to work late. Well, I work all the time. And then the best part about it for me is that men don't have to make the excuse. Women make it for him. I'll be like, hey, listen, girl. Oh, he has to work late? That's bullshit. If he's really into you, trust me. No, some men. Okay, some men, you got that. No problem. I'm not going to argue with you. Bullshit. When a man will find a 25th hour in a day when he's into a woman. I worked, I'm exhausted. Oh my God, I can't do this shit. I'm so tired. But he will make his ass to your house just to see you when he's that into you. You know what I mean? And I'm being a little exaggerating. I'm exaggerating a little bit.
But I don't think you are, though, because
I don't think
that's
so
what
either.
I've learned. That's what I've learned in this dating thing, that, you know what, if he wants to be there, he will be there. He will, part the Red Sea and he will make it happen. But if he's not, he's just not into you.
No, he's just not into you. That's a good. I always talk about the excuses that I would give. I always talk about the excuses I would give. I remember, I got to the point where women, the communication has always been there for me. I was born with the gift of God. So, that was always there. So these women would start to fall for me. But I knew I wanted no parts of a serious relationship. But I'm a coward. So I'm not going to tell you, nah, I don't want that. I'm kind of, what I like to do is I like to come up with a really good excuse. An excuse that nobody can counteract. Because if you counteract my excuse, you're a bitch. So I'd say to them, I want to commit to you, man. I'm really into you, but I got 1 foot here and 1 foot in New Jersey because my daughter, she's at that age where she needs her dad, and I might have to go back to New Jersey to be with her. She's telling me she really misses me, and I miss her too. And I'm such a good dad. Now, if you tell me, hell no, you need to pick me. No, that's some bullshit. you look like what? A B, right? You look like a B. If you counteract me again, you try to put me against my daughter, you're a B. So
I
you can't
definitely
do
wouldn't
that.
tell you to your face, but I'm thinking it in my head.
Of course you are, but you corner
Just so I could
yourself.
play the middle ground.
Right, you corner
Like,
yourself,
we're
so
gonna
you
see how this
can't.
pans out.
It's too good an excuse. So I would put that out there. It sounds legit. I'm a great man for doing it, because that's what good men do. They put their children first, and he's such a good dad. So you can't counteract it. What does that allow
Now
me to
go
do?
buy your Super
That
Bowl tickets and tell him we're going to the Super Bowl.
there you go. That allows me to walk away, go fucking get back on the app, go mess around, do whatever I want. 2 months later, I'm like, that pussy was good. I gotta call her back, yo. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, man, I took a trip out there. She's feeling a little better now, but I'm still stressed out over it. But I was just thinking, like, how are you, man? I miss you, and that bullshit. Again, when I left, I didn't leave on a sour note. I was a good guy. I left because I'm a great dad. I didn't stop talking to her because I'm a jerk off, right? When I come back around, she remembers that I was a good dude. That
I
there
don't
could have
know.
been something if the
I'm gonna
situation was
call
right.
bullshit on that because a
Go
little
ahead.
piece of me is saying, you know what? If you're gonna use your daughter as an excuse, you're an
Right.
asshole. You are
Yes.
an ass. How could you
Yes.
do that? Use your daughter as an excuse.
Yes. Because it had nothing to do with that. My relationship with my daughter's great. I just felt like getting new pussy. I was being a dick.
That's terrible.
You're not being wrong. Here's the thing. You're not wrong. That is a dick move. That is an asshole move. That's what we're explaining here. That's what we're trying to put out there.
Why
That's
do
an
you
asshole
guys
move.
do that? Why do you do that?
You want to know the truth? You want me to be raw with you?
Is
I'm gonna keep it
the
raw with
pussy
you.
like that big? Like that you have to go to that length to
Yes.
really?
Yeah. Because in the words of my man Nas, in that wonderful poem Uchiwali, ain't no pussy like new pussy. That's just how a ninja feels. All right. So look, It's not about you reasoning on whether it is asshole. It is dead wrong. It is fucked up. But are we talking reality or are we talking what should be? We're talking reality, man. That's reality. And when you're in that lane, That's why I say a man that's into you says, I'm going to work that out. You don't, that's not your responsibility to work that out, to worry about that. I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to handle that. And regardless, I'm going to be with you.
Yeah, I feel like
Regardless, I'm going
if
to be,
they were
I'll
really
figure that
about
out.
it,
I'm going to be
they
with
would
you.
figure it out and
Yeah,
not even tell you about it, actually. It might be going on behind the
exactly.
scenes, but like, why do we have to involve you?
Yeah, yeah. It's only involving you when it's an excuse to try to get away for a little bit. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're a little bit over. We actually went way over now, but it's all good. Yo, man, good episode. I want to say thank you guys for coming through, having a good time. Always a funny, good, entertaining conversation. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, well, first of all, any closing remarks? Anybody want to make? Lisa,
No, I'm good.
Christina?
Don't fall for the bullshit. Don't fall for the bullshit. Stay away from these
Yeah.
little 21-year-old sword enthusiasts.
Sort of big dick enthusiast. Oh my god. Ileana, what you got?
Do what works for you, right? Never mind the social media and the glitter and all that other stuff, but create a dynamic in the relationship that works for everybody so everybody's happy. Yay.
Oh yeah. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Hopeful Romantic Podcast. I want to thank everybody for showing up, listening. Make sure you comment, make sure you share, make sure give us your 2 cents. Let us know what you're thinking. The more interactive, the better this is going to be. The more, if you have any topics, drop them down below. Let us know. Once again, this is the Hopeful Romantic Podcast, and we are out of here. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.